announce that the United States will provide more than $1.5 billion to address Ukraine's humanitarian and energy needs.
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up right there. But there's so much more to that story than the measly, $750. Oh boy. There's so much going on that you're not going to see in the media and stuff like this, unless it's, somebody that uploads a video on TikTok or Twitter or something like that. If not, we're sending FEMA down there, and we're doing all this, and we're giving all this money out and everything. Yeah, $750. You know how much money we sent over to Ukraine? Imagine, just go do some figuring about how many people there is in Ukraine. Now divvy up that $200 billion between those people, and tell me who benefits. The $750 that some people are getting, the fact that it took them a week to get to a lot of these people that were affected by this flood, the rain, the hurricane, whatever you want to call it, mudslides, whatever you want to call it. The fact that, in 2023, Biden never came down to Ohio, the site of the biggest toxic train thing in history. He still hasn't been to Ohio for this. And there's still people having issues with the water and itching and, the air quality, and you can go on and on. I'm not saying that, the stuff in Ohio was worse or anything like that, because it wasn't. But I'm trying to point to something here. You have Biden and Harris. Things happening in this country, disasters and man-made stuff, or whatever you want to call it, happening here, and they, it's, oh, okay, whatever, it didn't happen to us, and there's some awful things that has been coming up with people trying to help and being forced to turn around and go home, even when they have food, blankets, donations of all sorts, baby food, the whole 9 yards, being told that they have to leave. And this is because, FEMA's there. Instead of helping the people, they're blocking the way for the local people that want to help, that are bringing donations and stuff. They're being turned away because the government is involved now. And us, the people, will help these people more than a government will ever help. Now, I'm going to put it a different way. There's a guy who posted something very interesting. Before we get started, according to our lovely administration there in Washington, only 12 counties were affected by this. There was a lot more counties than that, and we'll get into this a little bit later. But one thing I found very interesting is why did it take so long? Why did we not get any help and for these people down there and everything? Well, I noticed something, and somebody brought this up, and the areas that were affected are 37.75% Republican and 24.23% Democrat. Is this why? Is it mainly the areas that were involved in this? Was it not big city, you know? These were small towns. Some towns are not even there anymore. How is these small towns going to vote when there's nothing there to vote now? Maybe that's the point. You get 37% of the vote to disappear. I don't know. You tell me on this one. Now I'm gonna play some videos and stuff, just to get you, some of what we're looking at here. Let me switch this over. See if it switches over. There we go. See if this pops up on the screen. Yeah, there we go. Oh, come on.
When the first emergency declarations came down, there was only 11 counties in that. A lot of people were outraged, including me, because there was such devastation in up to 90 counties. So we called the White House. We spoke to the president's chief of staff, the FEMA administrator, and said, look, you're sending the signal that you're not paying attention to some of these rural communities.
Yep, not 12. 90. Yes, 90. Yeah. And there's more.
Do you think the government is doing enough?
Honestly, I don't know how you did not have a formal press conference or something from either President Biden or Kamala Harris. I mean, how do you not say anything for 4 days? They've been stranded for 4 days, and this is the first we've heard from them at all. FEMA is not on the ground there at all. They are not in these cities, not in these towns, and not in these villages.
Does your relative have food? Does she have water? Does she have the medication she needs?
They have a minimal amount of water. They have a minimal amount of food. They were able to get slightly down the mountain to get a little bit of gas, but they haven't been able to cut their way out yet.
When you say cut their way out, what do you mean?
There's trees down. You have to have chainsaws out there to get the trees out of the roads, and that is if the mudslides didn't take the roads out completely. I could not even tell you how many families, even here outside of Charlotte, that are looking for their loved ones up in that area. No one knows anything.
Mm-hmm. Now, I talk about, water being one of the most important things for survival and whatnot. You got 3 days, and then you're either very close to not being here anymore, or you're already gone. And It's just not like you can go to a stream nowadays and drink out of the water, especially when you don't know where this water has come from, how many, unfortunately, bodies have been left in this water, and you don't make a press release or anything. You go and do, like Harris, she did rallies, not mentioning anything that was hurricane related. Biden was on the beach soaking up the sun. I bet he had plenty to drink and plenty to eat while he was on that beach, wasn't
I'm so proud of my son because in his last moments, he wasn't screaming for me. He was screaming, Jesus, Jesus, save me. Jesus, I hear you. Jesus, I'm calling upon you. And his wildest dreams and everything that he wanted to be was a superhero. And that was his goal in life. And instead, he's my hero because he reached for something past flesh, past human, past anything that even grown adults, I think, would reach for. My son called out to the one God Almighty. And I think at that moment he was rescued and he became my hero. And I think all of them carried me through that moment. I think that his biggest dreams, he was the smartest, bravest, hopeful, great friend, great son. I couldn't have asked for a better son. And he was so happy up until the very end when he was screaming for Jesus. And in that moment, I think he found joy.
The innocence of children is actually quite spectacular. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it is. Marissa being a mother too, Megan and Heather, I do, amidst the tragedy, your parents as well, Jessica included.
And there's many stories like that. Very, very, very hard to watch. And you won't see them. Very lucky that even got on Fox. There's many stories like that. People losing their family members. And it's not because they were lost because of the water and stuff. It's afterwards when they don't have any food, they don't have no medication, water, taking them 5 days. Dang it.
It's too late. I mean, they took too long. It took them 5 days to get here. And I mean, it took 5 days for Biden to come here, and he didn't think we were worth coming down to see us himself. He had to fly over on his way to Raleigh.
Flyover.
It's disgraceful. I mean, they keep saying we the people. No, there is no we the people. It's them versus us. So they're not for us. It's all about them. They tell us what we need instead of listening to us.
He hit it right on the and there are many stories like this. It's just not, they're picking the hard ones or, one-sided ones. It's a lot of people, and let's put
New Orleans and the Gulf Coast extended their hand for help. Help was not there. We can talk about levees that couldn't hold, about a FEMA that seemed not just incompetent, but paralyzed and powerless, about a president who only saw the people from the window of an airplane instead of down here on the ground, trying to provide comfort.
I'm not even going to listen to the rest of that. Basically, he's going in on Bush making a tragedy political, which you know it's coming. Trump could do this, you know. He may put a tweet or two out, but it's not going to be. That's he actually, with his own money, took truckloads to help people in Georgia, Alabama, you know, on and on. He got with Elon Musk to get communications up in these states to where, you know, cell towers are out and stuff, so cell phones are no good. There are no electricity, you know, you name it. And this is where it's at. This is 5 days. 5 days. Imagine you trapped in your house full of water, or on your top of your house, or you're stuck up in a tree with muck and water all around you, with no food or water for 5 days. Yeah, there's local people, you know, the local fire departments out there, but where's the government? We pay taxes for emergency help in these situations. And it's not like, oh, well, it takes a while for them to get there, you know, that kind of thing. How long does it take for you to drive a few hundred miles? How long does it take? Yeah. And the sad fact is there's many stories like this. I could bring up videos after videos of the devastation and stuff that's going on. But you see the people in that area that are going out of their way to help clear things. And it's going to be, you know, most of the media has moved on to the next thing, you know. The strike, you know, even though the strike only lasted 2 days, who cares about the hurricane? Let's move on to the strike stuff. And you still have people that are missing, that family members have not seen or heard from their family members yet. And you just, you know, all you get from the Harris and Biden duo, they don't care. You know, if it was a bunch of Democrat voters down there, ooh, we'd be right on it, wouldn't we? Yeah, and there's only 12 counties that were hit. No, there was over 90 counties in one state. That doesn't count the other states. That was just in North Carolina. They were talking about 90 counties affected by this. Yeah. See, I don't want to make this political or anything, but when I go to vote, I don't vote for Republican or Democrat. I go and look at the person and do some research, not from these infomercials and little clips that they put on after a sporting event or something like this, and badmouthing one party to the other party. 99% of those are all lies, and it's from both sides. So I don't pay attention to those. I go and look, say, well, in the last 5 years that they were in office or something, what did they vote for? What were they favored on voting for? When there was a incident that happened in our state or something, did they bother to go and visit the area? Because these are people you're supposed to be working for these people. So did you show up in those areas? Did you help them? Did any of that? And I look at that and I determine if that's the kind of person I want to vote for, or do I want to vote for somebody just because they have a D or an R at the end of their name. That's what we should be voting, not because, what party they're from, or, oh, yeah, but if I vote for that person, even though they're better for the country, everybody will look at me weird because I voted for that guy or whatever. We need to get out of that. We need to vote for people who actually make changes and are good for the people that they are supposed to be working for. And I guess that's going to be my end for my rant for there. But $750 for victims, and some of these victims don't even have a town to go back to. The towns are gone. Yeah, and they're given $750 and hit the road. You have nothing in this town anymore, so you don't need to go back. That being said, these are mainly Republican cities or towns or, whatever. It's a shame. It really is. I'm going to go ahead and end it here before I get in too much trouble. Until next time, God bless. And keep these people in your prayers. They're going to need it for a long time.